Hello everyone, this video is going to be my demonstration on why we are a car-dependent nation. Let's go to eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. Here we go. Let's go with Illinois. Now, let's go with Springfield. Springfield, Illinois. Springfield, Illinois is about, let's grab a ruler at a point, is about 6 kilometers long, I think every 1,000 kilometers is a mile, is 1,000 meters is a kilometer, but let's just go with, okay, that is Springfield. The weird mess it is, and holy hell, that is trippy. But let's just go with trying to find somewhere to eat. Somewhere to probably eat. I can't really see much, but let's just do this. Okay, there was a lot of construction this day. But okay, it doesn't look too bad for walking infrastructure. But the entire point of this video is basically to prove that the United States has terrible walking infrastructure in comparison to the rest of the world. That is still true, even if some parts have decent. Now, let's say you live in like normal let's just say you live at this house. I know you're not going to be living directly at this house or one of these houses, but overall you live, for this example, here. Oh, God damn it. Now, before I go insane, I'm going to need to change this. Why is it so complicated? I am an American. Give me something in freedom units, damn it. Anyway, now, just for perspective, Google says 1 mile takes 21 minutes to 30 minutes for the average American. Personally, I believe that's very wishful thinking, but that is what Google says. Now, oh God. Okay. Now, I will have this demonstrate. First, from 1917, you walk to the street, then you walk on. You walk and 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 walk, and I believe that possibly is a business. That's about 419 feet. Now, yes, that's 200 feet, and that may be a business. You might be able to get to something. I don't know what it is. Yes, it is a business. Okay. Within 500 feet, there is a business. Now, again, besides a burger joint, if you want to go anywhere else, I just have to say, Strodes are scary. I have walked on them personally. And now, let's try to find somewhere to eat, do business, and something of the sort. Is this a Walmart? Illinois State Museum. Okay. Maybe this person wants to go to the museum. Yeah. And yes, I'm using the museum as a example. Now, it takes and will take 1,000 feet. Then, nearly 2,000 feet. Just to get to the gas station in front. And I don't know how you supposed to get into this, because I think you go through here or here. But basically, it's about 2,000 feet. And sure, these people might have it easier, but the fact is, to just get to a library, it takes 2,000 feet. Now, look at this checkerboard of a town. Now, I'm just going to... Actually, let's use Abraham Lincoln, an airport. That seems like a good location somebody might want to get to. Now, if they walk or do not own a vehicle, that is approximately 8,000 feet. The more you go. And yes, I know I am using a straight line, but it's still going to take at least a majority of this distance. Now, when you do reach the airport, after all of that walking, 5.2, nearly 6 miles. Nearly 6 miles. And using the stick from earlier, where 1 mile by Google standards is 20 to 30 minutes. Personally, that's very liberal. But, well, that is what Google says. Now, that is doing simple math. If it costs half an hour to go a mile, that is 2 hours. Actually, let's go conservatively. That is 3 hours of walking with luggage and or a lot of carry-on. If they didn't want to pay for an Uber. And also the fact they probably would be stopped by the police because this is not typical. Even though it's not illegal. Now, let's go back to where we started. And let's just say they want to go to Illinois Human Services. Let's just say they want to go to Illinois Human Services from their place. It's going to take at least 4,000 feet. Eight. Where, yes, someone can walk that. Maybe. But the fact is, I can pretty much show you the problem why we rely on cars. Because this country isn't built for humans. It's built for billionaires and cars. If you're not either, you are screwed. Now, I have to ask you, do you think Springfield is the only version? No. Let's go with the most to a East Coast city of Delaware. Let's go with Delaware, one of the smallest states in the entire union. Let's go with Lewis. Now, let me show you this. The border gore aside, can I ask you a simple question? Do you think it's going to be different than Springfield, Illinois? I don't think so. But we will see. Now, let's just be conservative and say, hey, let's look for locations people might want to walk to. Or if they don't have transportation, need to get to. Let's say where are places to work? That's a hospital. That's a church. That's another medical center. And let's go with empty bank. Other businesses. Let's say that's a business. That is a business area, or what we would call a strip mall, I think. Now, let's go with a typical place for an American to live is what we call all suburbia. This is suburbia. And yes, I am being very, very poignant in the places I pick. Let's go with 423. 423. And I am not here to dox anyone. Now, just give a guess if someone doesn't have a vehicle. Unlikely, but still possible. Or possibly just wanting not to waste gas. It takes 1,000 feet just to get out of their neighborhood. Not trying to get basically around through basically going through people's own neighborhoods. Now, if someone wants to go to church on Sunday but they don't want to use their car, it's going to take them 1,000, let's go conservatively, 1,200 feet. Now, if they want to, let's say, go, I believe this is downtown, or I think it is. I have never been there, but let's just go there. Just to say, let's go to BB Hospital. BB Hospital is approximately about 3,500 feet, give or take. If someone does not have a vehicle and doesn't want to call an ambulance, because us Americans very much like use the phrase, don't call an ambulance, I cannot afford it, is not a joke. That is just life, unfortunately. Now, if someone doesn't need to go to a hospital, and hopefully they're capable of walking long distances, they will be looking at their phone, because honestly, unless they know their entire town by heart, they're going to be looking for something to do. And let's just say they don't need a determinatory. They think that's a McDonald's. No, it is not. I don't think so. No, that's a senior home, I think. But my point still stands. That the United States is 99%, or at least 90%, conservatively, not walkable. Even in tiny states. Like, let's go with the smallest state of Rhode Island. Let's go with the tiny state of Rhode Island, where the entire state could probably be... Actually, let's see. Let's go with from here to here. That is 36.4 miles from one part of the state to another. That is a marathon plus 10 miles. But I have to ask you, most people do not walk a marathon. And yes, I know that feels like I'm using that as saying it's not walkable. But the fact is, even in the smallest state in the country, we have cul-de-sacs, we have car-based infrastructure. Because I can tell you there's no stores here. Maybe a school, but here, and you get the point. You get the point. This that is 5.2 miles of cul-de-sacs and not much of anything else. And many people say, I don't want to live in a city where everything is terrible, as they would probably say. But the fact is, for everyone in this square, and in a lot of America, you need a car. That's not if and or but. Socially, and practically speaking, under every single circumstance, you need a car. From Maine to Washington to Florida to California to Alaska to Hawaii, you need a car to exist in the United States. Especially if you're in the West Coast. If you are past the Mississippi, you definitely do. Where, sure, in some parts of the East Coast, you could possibly survive without one. In Boston, New York, and old cities, you probably don't. But many of those still make it so you have to practically own one, unless you live in a very densely populated city. But not everyone wants to do that. Yes, sure, over time, people are moving into cities. But the fact is, not everybody. Especially in the East Coast, where people are moving to cities, but the cities are built around the car. So anyway, sorry about the 18 minutes of rambling about the fact that car infrastructure is basically the reason why all Americans attempt to drive, because practically speaking, that's the only way to get around. Like, this entire area, where, yes, I am a New Englander, and yes, I'm going to reveal that on my channel. I know that's risky. That could get me doxxed. But anyway, in every single part of the country, practically speaking, you need a car. That's not really something you can live without unless you are in a major city. And even if you do, you need a license. It's the entire reason why every American practically owns one. Because if you don't, most identification is a pain in the butt. Second, the fact that having your license makes it a whole lot easier to use public services, because that is primarily the identification of choice for 99% of the world, or of the United States. Sure, you can use your passport or a non-driver's ID, but still. Anyway, please like and subscribe, and thank you.